cooking in your kitchen today. I'm Joanna, and you're watching Kitchen to Kitchen, where we visit people in the Belmont community in their own kitchens so they can share their recipes with us. And today, we are in the kitchen of Roger Weiss. Roger, thank you so much for having us in your kitchen today.
Hey, it's going to be fun.
I must say, I love your hat.
Well, thanks. So do I.
Now, before we get cooking, I want to tell our viewers a little bit more about you. So, how long have you lived in Belmont?
I've been here about 14 years. Watertown before that.
Oh, really? And what do you do for work?
I'm a website designer and photo restorations.
Okay. And what do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, I like to play pickleball, and I like to swing dance, and I also play banjo in a bluegrass band called the Sandy Ridge Boys.
Oh, that's right. I believe you play at our Payson Park Music Festival
We
in
did.
the summer?
You could find our video on the Belmont Media Center website.
So banjo is your instrument, right?
It is banjo.
That's great. But I'm sure you also enjoy cooking, otherwise you wouldn't own a hat like that, am I right?
I do like cooking. I especially used to do a lot of baking.
Baking. Okay, well, now we can get into the fun part of the show. What recipe are you going to share with us today?
I'm going to share a challah recipe, which is
Challah?
Challah.
Challah.
That's right.
Okay, and what is that?
Challah is a braided, egg-rich, yeast-leavened bread, and it's usually eaten on the Sabbath and Jewish holidays, but except for Passover, of course. Right. But it can be eaten anytime. It's delicious. It looks good. It tastes good. And I'm going to make a round braided challah as opposed to the long braid today.
You are 100% Jewish, right? You were born and raised Jewish in New York?
More or less, yes.
And why is it that you didn't learn to make this from your mom or your grandmother?
Well, my mother didn't bake at all. She used to say it would ruin her girlish figure.
Ah.
So she never baked. And so we never baked at home. I kind of took up baking later in life because I like fresh baked stuff. It just doesn't compare to the stuff you buy in the store that's already cold. Like, we taste this bread fresh out of the oven. It's just great.
And that's what we're going to do on today's show, am I right?
You betcha.
Oh, I'm really excited. So tell us, what are the ingredients you need in your kitchen to make a challah bread?
Okay, well, I'm using bread flour as opposed to all-purpose flour because it has more gluten in it. And then you need a pack of yeast. Water, eggs, butter, salt, sugar, and some oil. And the butter, if you're kosher and you want to have this with meat, you wouldn't use butter, you'd use oil. But we don't really care about that, and butter is so good, so we're using butter.
Okay, so let's get started.
Oh, and also we're going to put raisins in it as an extra added treat. To start making the challah, you start with a pre-ferment. So what you do is you first have to take the yeast. I'm using this packet of yeast. Pour it in the bowl. Okay. And you took a 1/4 cup of sugar. And you take a 1/2 cup of warm water. Okay. And we're going to need a 1/2 cup of regular water also. If you could do that, Joanna, that would be great. And I'm going to whisk this together just to mix the yeast up. Get it. Okay. Is it measured very carefully?
I measured a 1/2 cup of, I hope, regular water.
Okay, great. So we've got that all mixed together. And then we're going to add a 1.5 cups of flour.
Okay. Can I do that?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
You can do a cup. I'll do a 1/2 cup. Nice. Did you wash your hands?
I did.
Oh, that's good.
So, cup.
Put it in. Okay, and then another 1/2 cup.
Half. You have to be really exact?
No,
Okay.
not for this part.
Okay.
Okay, and then with a spatula, I'm just going to mix this together. Mix all the flour in. You want to get it all moistened in there so that it can all proof together there.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah. So will it be lumpy?
It could be lumpy, but mainly you don't want any dry flour anywhere. You want this all to mix in.
And you recommend mixing it like with a spatula, or it doesn't matter?
I do recommend it because then I can work at the sides, you see. So that looks pretty good. That's all. I'll show you that in a second here. Okay, so it looks kind of like oatmeal. So that's that. We'll cover it up and this sits for 1 hour.
So the mix has been sitting for an hour. What's the next step?
Well, we're going to take it and we're going to add half a stick of melted butter and 2 eggs. Okay?
Okay.
So I've got some melted butter right here that I already melted in my microwave.
Oh, great.
And then we're going to throw a couple of eggs in.
Oh, I like how you crack the egg. That's a good technique.
Well, yeah, I use what I have handy. Okay?
Is this actually an egg cracker, or is it?
It's a tablespoon measure.
That's great.
Yeah, you do a lot of cooking, I
You didn't
see.
even get any shells in there.
I don't want any shells. Mix it up, get the eggs mixed in there. Okay. So that's pretty well mixed up. And then we need like a half a tablespoon of salt.
Okay.
Mix that in there. That's all set. Let's add the egg butter mixture, and you can give me a cup of flour, and let's put that all in.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to add this. Okay, that's in.
1 cup of flour.
1 cup of flour. Just put that in, and I'm just going to mix it all together just to get it started, so that it's a little bit of a more mass before we put it with the dough hook. The dough hook works really well when it's kind of all together a little bit more. I feel it rising. It's rising already. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, that's you. Okay. 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 And we're scraping the sides, getting all the dough in there, and that looks pretty good.
It does. It looks great.
Okay, so here we're going to turn this on and let the dough hook do its thing. It needs the dough. Okay, so we need to add more flour to this. It's going to take about 2.5 cups of flour. So let's see if you can put some more flour, another cup of flour in there.
Okay.
Yeah, approximate is good because we're going to do it by how it looks. Okay, so we put this on. Got to start a little bit slower or else it throws the flour over the edge. But the dough hook will do its job eventually. Okay, this is looking, it's coming together. So what I want you to do is, just give me like half of that, and we'll just add little by little.
Quarter cup. Quarter cup.
You give me another quarter cup. That's a half a cup measure, but give me half of it.
Adding a quarter cup.
Yeah, put that in.
And the reason I'm doing this is because it just needs to have a better consistency.
Yeah,
It's too wet.
It's not the right consistency yet. We need to add more flour.
Oh, all right.
Because the shot is not right yet. So we need another half of that thing of flour.
So I'm going to add a little more flour to get it to the right consistency.
All right.
Oops, sorry.
The dough has to stop sticking to the sides is the thing.
Yeah.
So it just is still too wet. So this is probably, this should do it, I think. That's looking pretty good. See how it's coming clean there? So that's how you can tell. It's coming clean off the sides, sticking a little bit at the bottom. We can take care of that, but a little bit of stickiness isn't so terrible.
Now, yeah, I can see how you know when it's ready because I see what you mean. It's not sticking to the side and very clean kind of dough.
Right, yeah. So that's what you want to see. So the dough has been kneading for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And one way to test if it's done is, it's called the window pane test. Let me get the dough out of here.
Why do I think the window pane test is throwing it at a window pane?
Because that's probably how you would do it. So you take off a little globule here, a little golf ball size thing. It's a little bit sticky, but that'll be moist. And then you kind of just start spreading it slowly. And if you can keep spreading it so it's thin enough to see light through without breaking, then it's ready. So looks like it's about ready.
I get it. You make it into a window pane.
Right. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now flatten it out a bunch because we're going to put the raisins in. Okay. So just kind of work it out to maybe an inch thick or so. Now these raisins have been soaked in hot water and then dried off.
Oh, really?
And that makes them plumper, but you need to dry them off before you put them in. Okay, so
I did notice they were plumper. I was wondering how they got so plump.
okay, so let's pour them in.
Just pour them in?
Well, just, spread them out in there.
Spread them out?
Okay, just spread them out.
Are these a particular kind of raisin?
You should use golden raisins, I think. These are regular black raisins. But golden raisins are even nicer. If I was having a really special company, I would use golden raisins.
Ah.
Okay, so you just fold it up so they're all contained in there. And then you can just knead the dough a little bit. It's already kneaded, so we're okay. Okay, so that's all contained just like that.
You
Okay.
make like a ball?
Make like a ball. And so then you take a little awl. Put that in a bowl like this.
Yeah, what kind of oil is that,
This
Roger?
is just sunflower oil. Spread it around there and throw that in.
I never would have thought you put oil.
Do that, and just, so it's coated in some oil. And then you put the dish towel on top of it. You got the dish towel handy?
I have the dish towel right here.
Okay, just put that on top and let that rise for about an hour and a half.
We are now ready to shape the challah bread.
All right, well, we've let it rise about an hour and a half. And here it is, it's about doubled in size or so. And the way to tell if it's done, if you press a couple of fingers in and it bounces back, that's good.
Pretty good.
Okay, we got a second opinion. So then we take it out of the thingy here.
Okay.
Take the dough out. And then you're going to cut it in half. Now normally you would braid a challah, and we're going to braid it, but we're not going to do the traditional like 3 braids or 4 braids, 5 braids or 6 braids, which I like a lot. But we're going to do a circular braided challah, which I think is the coolest looking one and the easiest braid to make that you can make. So you cut this in half, like this, about in half,
Yeah.
and then you roll it out. Now you want to roll it to about 28 inches or so.
All right, you want me to roll that one?
Yeah, but not at the same time that I'm rolling.
Okay.
Okay. So you roll it out like this, and you might notice the raisins are showing, but that's okay. Now this table is about 3 feet wide, so figure out 28 inches is going to be almost, pretty long length here. And then you kind of taper the ends a little bit,
Wow.
like that. So there's one rope that we've got pretty much. So you want to try
Looks
rolling one
great.
out?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Let me, all right.
And stretch it out. That's looking good. And make it
Do
about.
I look like I know what I'm doing? Never done this.
Don't
in my
answer
life.
that.
Beautiful. Wow.
Now what you do, you cross them like an X, like this, okay? And then what you do is you just wind it up thusly, like that.
It's like a twist.
It is exactly like a twist,
Just
and a twist and a shout. Kind of pull it and twist it. Okay, so then you've got the twisted thing, okay? So far so good. Then what you do is you turn it in on itself, like this, wind it up.
because you're gonna make us.
Exactly like a spiral. Have you done this before?
Never.
Okay. So we're rolling it up into a spiral, and then you tuck the end right underneath, and there you have a round braided challah. Okay.
Over.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to move this over. This is just a sheet pan with some parchment paper, okay? And then you just lift this up, put it on there like that, okay? And then at this point you want to brush it with some egg. So this is an egg that I beat up before, and you just brush it lightly, get everything slopped in there, and this will give it a nice golden brown color.
So that's an egg, like one egg yolk beat up.
It's one egg,
One egg beat up.
right? It's
The whole egg.
whole egg and nothing but the egg. So at this point, we'll just cover this with some saran, since it's a sticky mess. And saran is always the trickiest part of any kind of baking endeavor. Okay, so we're gonna put that over it like that,
So
and then
cover
we're
it
gonna
with
put
saran like that.
this over it also, and then we'll just put that aside for 45 minutes and let it rise. All right, well, the dough has been sitting now for 45 minutes, and let's see what we have, shall we? So it should have risen up a bunch, which it has. Carefully take off the
Sure has.
plastic wrap. Okay.
That looks beautiful.
And then we do a second egg wash. So
second egg wash?
Joanna's going to do the honors.
You really trust me to do this?
I don't, but you know, just be gentle and don't blow it. There you go. Just nice and generous. Just coat egg all over the place. This gives it that nice brown, golden brown sheen.
So how does it look, Roger? What do you think? Did I do a good job?
It looks ready to go.
It's ready to go?
You see all the raisins in there. It's going to be delish. So now we just put it in the oven for half an hour, 350 degrees.
Roger, this looks absolutely delicious.
Especially the egg wash.
It does, doesn't it? I did a good job on the egg wash. So when can I try it?
It depends if you want to burn your mouth or not.
I don't.
We should let it sit maybe 10 minutes to cool off a bit.
Oh no, 10 more minutes.
Well, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, Roger, can I try it now?
Yes.
Wow, it's about time.
Do you want to pull your section or you want to slice?
What do you recommend?
I would just pull a section out. That's what the braids are for.
Section?
Any section that looks good to you. Just
Is my trainer watching me?
not that one.
Not that one? Okay, so
I'd get one of the side ones
One of
because
the
I think it'll
side
be easier to separate.
All right, I'm going to try this.
Just pull there and
It
take
is
out the
hot.
whole section.
Look at that. How beautiful that is.
But how does it taste?
I'll tell you. True test here, everybody. This is good challah. Well, Roger, thank you so much for teaching us your recipe for challah today. Everyone at home, I hope that you will try our recipe for challah. As you can see at the end of the show, we have a QR code as well as the recipe so that you can try this at home. It definitely takes time, but it is worth it. Because I can tell you, I'm tasting it right now. It was worth it.